And we're live. Welcome to another show of Red Cup Rants. I'm your girl LDZ for Sheezy, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
with the birthday boy Boom,
Mm-hmm.
my boy Phil, and Mr. 4 and O down in the corner. What
Mr.
is up,
4-0.
gentlemen?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing good. How
Don't
y'all
call him
doing?
4-0. That means that he has a winning record. He 40.
4-0,
Exactly.
40, call it what you want to call it. Either way it goes, it was a good weekend for me. I'm just letting you know it's a very good weekend for me. I should have took
First
some
time
bets.
he's first time he's
Yeah,
ever been 4-0, so let him have it.
exactly. First time I ever been undefeated, and I should have took some bets because maybe I could have paid off my trip. But it is what it is. So we good.
Hey, I'm not hating. Birthday boy is hating.
I'm not
That's
hating.
all.
I'm just calling it like it
Well,
is.
Boom always give me shit, so I'm not surprised by that at all. So
We
it,
don't
it, it's
we don't
it's when
hate around here.
it's
We
when
state the
Right.
obvious.
it's when he doesn't give me shit is when I'm concerned when he doesn't give me shit.
Again, we don't hate around here. We just state the obvious. It's
Thank
a
you, Phil.
Well, the
difference.
obvious
Thank
is
you, Phil.
I'm 4-0 because all my picks were correct this weekend. So I'm gonna brag just a little bit this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Just a little.
Your picks were correct, just like how everyone else in America picks were correct.
No, because those two over there,
I picked
Phil and
before,
Don,
but I didn't pick.
they picked the
I
Rams
picked.
to beat the Packers. So
Yes, that
and
was before I knew Aaron Donald wasn't healthy. Like
and
I
Exactly.
was like,
Exactly.
oh wow,
If
he's
we
not
my
would have
healthy.
homeboy
known,
and my
if we
homeboy
would have known
Sam,
that,
who's probably going to join us later on, he's going to be on the chat. He picked the Ravens to beat the Bills, and
Nah, ain't nobody
Cleveland
like that now.
Cleveland almost pulled the upset this weekend.
hey,
We're
I
gonna talk
picked
about that.
Cleveland.
We're gonna talk
I
about
did
that
pick
Any,
later
Cleveland.
on, but
anything is possible.
it is. Hey,
Anything
it's
is
what they say.
possible.
What they say. Any given Sunday, Phil says it all the time. You don't play games on paper. Any given Sunday. So, hey, to go 4-0, hey man, hey,
Hey, our show is about anything is possible. So I guess we just gonna talk about those games for this weekend.
mm-hmm.
We have the Bills versus the Chiefs and Green Bay versus the Bucks. Which game do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk
Well,
about the. Well, go
both are
ahead,
going to be
Phil.
great. Both are going to be great games. You're going to see two young quarterbacks go at it, and then you're going to see the old Lions go
The
at it.
old lines. Yep, you know
And
that's my quote. The old
as
lines.
as much as I would love for it to have been the NFC Championship to actually been the Super Bowls, uh, some things just don't happen. But you're going to look at two young quarterbacks versus both of them. Very, very strong throwers. Can read a defense, and very, very mobile. It's really going to come down to their defenses to see who wins this game. Um, at this point, you look at um, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Nothing has to be said about those two. We know their resume. We know what they're going to give. We know what they're going to do. And then again, it's going to come down to defense. They're both terrific quarterbacks, old as hell, but still terrific quarterbacks. Um, it is going to be an interesting conference championships for both AFC and NFC. I don't know. I'm still up in the air. I think the Bills, as Dre said, we both said last week, I think the Bills were the greatest threat to the Chiefs. And I thought that the Browns could win. Let's be honest. Let's be real. They played almost a perfect game on defense. You kept them below a score that I never thought I'd see. I didn't think you would keep them that low. You kept it in range. You kept battling. If that if that fumble for a touchback does not happen, we're looking at the Browns in the AFC
Yep.
Championship.
Yep.
True
That
indeed.
was unfortunate. I really
Mm-hmm.
wish they would change that rule. I really
Mm-hmm.
wish they'd change that rule. I'd rather go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and let them take the penalty, give them the ball back, but to lose the ball and catch a penalty, that's it. That's tough.
Yeah.
And Up until that point, the Browns had all the momentum until that play happened, and then you had Chad Henne throw that short pass. They gained the first down, and then all she wrote with that game. I watched Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They kind of just dismantle that great defense. Granted, Donaldson was injured; he was hurt, but they did dismantle that defense. Well, I wouldn't say dismantle. They kind of pick, and they Aaron Rodgers took what they gave. So it was still all Packers with that game. And then I watched Tom Brady, the Bucks versus Drew Brees and the Saints. And hats off to Drew Brees with a terrific career. I do not know if this is going to be his last hoorah, but terrific guy playing terrific quarterback. I watched that game, and both did not. Drew Brees had a terrible game. Let's be honest, he had a terrible game. Tom Brady did not have a great game, but when it counted the most to put the ball in his hands to get them down the field, that's what he did. His defense played a stellar second half. Tom Brady got better in the fourth quarter with things, but man, those picks, that is something I did not expect from Drew Brees. Those picks that he threw, that really cost him the game. And we always say it's about clock managing and watch your turnovers. If you can manage and not turn the ball over, you have a good shot in winning a football game. For those two conference championships games that we're going to see this weekend, I'm thoroughly excited because you just don't. You can pick who you think is going to win, but you really don't know who's going to win these games. So I'm really looking forward to Rodgers and Brady. See those two old guns go at it. Should be a shootout. It may be a shootout. Who knows? The AFC Championship game is going to be a shootout with those two young bulls as well.
Oh, so definitely.
It is going to be a great game. Two great games, and I'm looking forward to seeing who is going to go to the Super Bowl. I have my picks, but who knows what happens?
True indeed.
And I'm going back to this comment, Brian, the Bills haven't looked good. And I agree with that, but at the same time, they're getting done. It was kind of like what Tom Brady did against the Saints. They got warmed up in the second half. Now, I will say if Mahomes is playing, because we don't know if he's playing or not, I kind of highly doubt that he is.
If it's a concussion, like they say, no, you got to get through too many steps to play. And
exactly. It was actually 4 picks, wasn't it? It was 4 interceptions.
You talking about against with who? With
Breeze?
Breeze?
Yeah, I think it was 4.
I think Breeze had 3. He had 3.
He had 3.
Even with 3, I cannot call a game or remember a game where he's thrown 3 picks.
Yeah. I
can't remember the last time. I can't remember the last time I've seen a game where he throws 3 picks.
Yeah, I expected 1, but I didn't expect 3. But let me go back to real quick just to say it's reported that Mahomes is out. I haven't got that report yet. I haven't.
He's still going through protocol.
He's still going through protocol.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to call it this soon. But I wouldn't be surprised if he is out. This is what they're also saying. It was a pinched nerve in his neck. Pat is fine, and he'll play Sunday evening. I didn't hear that either. I'm not saying Brian nor Darren is wrong. I just haven't heard neither one. And I get a lot of updates about everyone.
I will say this: if Pat Mahomes don't play, the Bills are going to Tampa.
But one thing I did hear.
But if Pat Mahomes plays, if he plays, the Bills cannot start off slow like they have against the Ravens.
It all depends on how fast Pat Mahomes comes out swing.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. That's what I was getting at. It's a good point.
Go ahead, Phil.
Because it's a pinched nerve in the neck. I don't care who you are, how stellar you are. Your throwing motion, your ability to look across that field, it's going to wear down you over a course of a game. And now that you have a pinpointing target where you know he's injured, expect them to rush him a lot because now they're gonna want him to run. You saw what happened when he ran. You got hit, you got hurt. So you got to be at this point. If it's a pinched nerve, concussion, I understand the Super Bowl is at stake. But that future with that franchise is a little bit the hell with the Super Bowl this year.
Yep.
If he's that banged up, I'll go ahead and sit him. You got other years to contend for a Super Bowl.
Yeah. He's locked up for 10 years. Come on. No, 1 year ain't going to hurt it.
One year is not going to hurt him. He's going to be a stellar. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a terrific quarterback. Could end up being one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. But if he is hurt, if he has that pitch nerve, and one thing about protocol with concussions, if he is still undergoing protocol, there's no way he's playing Sunday, because protocol, at least half of it should have been done at least late today. If he's still undergoing protocols, I don't see him playing Sunday. And then if he is okay to play, then you have the pinched nerve situation. I heard about the pinched nerve. That's not good. I don't care how young you are, how great you are. You got to throw that ball. You got to keep looking across. You got to keep looking at that field. It's so easy to get blindsided. It's really so easy to get blindsided.
And he injured a toe.
And he has a turf toe. And everybody knows who played sports, especially me with football and basketball. Turf toe? That is a nagging thing.
Look, ask Deion Sanders about turf toe. Ask him about turf toe. Deion will tell you, turf toes ain't no joke, man. They're not. It feels like an ingrown toenail times a million.
Yes, it is a nagging thing. And it takes weeks to get over that thing sometimes. So I don't care how great he is and how great people want to say he is. With all that piled up, I don't.
Brian's over here. I swear you would think Brian is a Chiefs fan.
He is a Chiefs fan. Stop it.
Yeah.
He's a Chiefs fan.
No, but he's talking about protocol. He'll be clear. We don't know. That concussion, it looked really, really bad. And
the dude got his neck.
What I'm saying, and from what I'm just reading, because I'm reading while you guys are all talking. Andy Reid came out today and he wouldn't say nothing. He would not speak on it. Basically, he just said, I leave it to the doctors because of protocol, and that's it. So whatever else is hearing, it's basically hearsay.
It's basically hearsay. It's basically hearsay right now. Yeah, it's hearsay.
Like I said, we should have you should have heard something. It's Monday. Protocol should have been taking effect by now, going into it, and we've heard nothing. And to hear Andy Reid said, "I leave it to the doctors." We've seen this before with coaches. When some coaches say we leave it to the doctors, it's something there. They don't want to say, but there's something there. I hope he has none of those. Well, we know he has a turf toe, but I really hope it's not a pinched nerve. I really hope it's not his concussion. I hope he can play. Put it that way. I hope he can play, because it will make it a better conference championship game. But if he is out, I don't see the Bulls, and I don't see Chad Henne coming in and beating the Bills.
Nah, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. Chad Henne.
Things have happened. Nick Foles came in and won a championship.
But Chad Henne. I seen Chad Henne in Jacksonville. I seen Chad Henne with what's the other team he played with?
We've seen Chad Henne everywhere,
and he is not the savior.
We are not saying.
And me and LaDonna had this. And me and LaDonna had this argument back and forth. We had this debate yesterday, and she was trying to cheer Chad Henne on. And I told her, watch Chad Henne do something crazy. And lo and behold, what does he do? He throws the interception in the end zone. I told that dude.
And that was a horrible play. It was a horrible play. Because not only did you have you had defenders in the end zone, it was like 3 defenders and 2 people in it. Somebody's going to get the ball.
Basically what it was.
Kelsey ran an under.
The safety was back there basically like a center field in baseball. He was basically catching the fly. That's all it was.
Yeah. But with that throw, I got a question for you. With that throw, you think the wind had anything to do with it? I mean, the wind was at his back.
No, it was a terrible throw.
Excuse my expression, but win my ass. You could have threw that out. You could have threw that out of bounds. You could have threw that out of bounds in someone's direction, lived to fight another play. You threw it in the end zone. The accuracy was terrible. It was a terrible throw, intercepted. That's when I said, okay, you just cost him the game. I don't. You just cost him the game with this. You just swung the momentum back in the Browns' favor.
Like I said before, shout out to the KC defense. I know we talk about their offense, but the way the KC defense played that game, especially with I'm not gonna say, especially with a hot team like Cleveland that had nothing to lose. Shout out to the KC defense. They played well enough to hold on, but they gonna need more than that this upcoming weekend, especially if Pat Mahomes plays. And then on top of that, we don't even know if Pat Mahomes does play, which I think, me personally, I think he's gonna play. We don't even know if he's 100%. If he's gonna be 100%,
he's not gonna. I don't think he will be 100%.
I don't think he's gonna.
So if he plays, he won't be 100%.
He won't be 100%. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
That's kind of. I don't like situations like this because we've seen it before where players have injuries. They look good when it's time to warm up, and you say, "Well, hey, they're sure go." And then what happens? They get an injury, and it's almost a career devastating injury. You saw what happened with KD. Everybody thought KD was ready to go. Even KD thought he was ready to go, and it just took one wrong step.
The Achilles said,
"One wrong line."
The Achilles said, "Hell no, he ain't ready."
You're not ready, and that's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see a young guy like this, go out and say, "Well, hey, I feel good. I can go. I can do this." And then when you go out there and you get hit one good time, and then boom, we don't know what happened.
What they say, you're one play away. You're always one play away. One play away. And the thing about it with me is that we all know that should he play? I don't think so. I don't think he should play. But the fact of the matter is, you're on the cusp of playing for a championship, and we all know how hard it is to play a championship in any sport. It's very difficult. Like, we talk about LeBron making 10, 11 consecutive finals appearances. It's hard. It's difficult. It's very difficult. So I will say this. Do I want Patrick Mahomes to play? Nah, I don't want to play. But considering the fact the circumstances surrounding this game and this weekend and the potential to be the AFC representative in the Super Bowl, he's going to play. My question is how healthy he's going to be. Because he said he got the turf toe, he got the pinched nerve, he's got the and then you saw what happened last year when he messed his knee up last year.
Dislocated. Well, dislocated the knee or something?
I think it was dislocation or it was a sprain or something. I don't know what it was. I think Brian could probably correct me on. I'm not sure. So my thing is this: he's going to play. The question is, how good is he going to be? Now, if he guts it out and the Chiefs win, then my respect will be like up here for him, because like I said, it's kind of like what Phillip Rivers went through in New England when he played his ass off with a tore ACL and he still played his ass off. You know what I'm saying? So I think Mahomes is going to play. They're gonna kind of keep it in mystery until maybe Friday or Saturday. They're gonna keep it up until then. Probably be a game time decision to play. But I think Mahomes is going to play. But I will say this: the Bills are not the Browns.
Exactly.
Not the Browns. As much as
protect the hell out of them.
As much as I love Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen is a whole different caliber quarterback. He's a whole different caliber. Definitely should be. If it wasn't for Mahomes and Rodgers, he would definitely be my MVP. Just the way he's been playing the game. He's got similar stats with Mahomes and Rodgers. Their running game has been kind of on and off, but Stephon Diggs is balling out of his mind. I know everybody talks about Tyreek Hill. Everybody talks about all the weapons that Kansas City has, but Buffalo got some weapons too. They got some weapons on offense too. They got Stephon Diggs. They got who's the other receiver?
Knox is their tight end.
Yeah. So I mean, the Bills have the weapons to compete with Kansas City and make it a game.
It's defense.
It's gonna right. It's gonna be like I agree with you, Phil. It's gonna be which defense makes the most stops. Whatever team defense makes the most stops is gonna win. And the way that the Bills defense played against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they got a shot. And consider and you can look at what Cleveland's defense is not as great as Buffalo, and they held them to 22 points. So, John Brown and Cole Beasley. Thank you, Sam. You got Cole Beasley out there. You got John Brown. the Bills' defense is legit. They don't get a lot of talk because their offense, but their defense is legit. Their secondary is pretty good. Their front seven could get to the quarterback when need be. Their front line is great. So if the Bills front four can get to Mahomes and make him uncomfortable, the Bills got a good shot to win it, to go to Tampa. So
yeah, and I also think Singletary is their running back, and they didn't try to run against the Ravens because they saw what the Ravens did, with Henry. Yeah, so they knew they weren't even going to try it. But I think they're going, they're going to try to run that ball down their throat as much as possible.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to run. They're going to have to run
running, the ball. They're going to run. They're going to run that ball down their throat, and I just hate that Moss is out for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But here is one of our Bills Mafia representatives.
Shout out Cedric, man. I know you happy right now, man, about your Bills, man. They're playing good football.
Me and him were talking. He said, he's excited. He might go live and jump through a table. I said, yo, make sure we see it. Make sure you tag me.
Hey, if the Bills get the Tampa man, if the Bills get the Tampa man, you can jump through anything you want because I know the Buffaloes like Atlanta. They're thirsty for a championship, considering the fact that they went to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s and couldn't win one. I know they're hungry for a championship. So, I mean,
and I'm never going to count the Chiefs out. Never. Especially if
never at all.
Especially if Mahomes is playing. Never.
Oh yeah. Like I said, this is probably the Bills are the greatest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC right now. So
for now,
and considering the fact that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are still in their mid-20s, they didn't even hit their prime yet. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this will probably be the next great rivalry. You got Brady and Manning, you had Breeze and Rodgers, you had Rodgers and Brady. This will probably be the next great rivalry that we have as far as the young quarterbacks, Allen versus Mahomes. Especially if they keep the trajectory goes the way it's going right now, they could battle for years because they're still young. They haven't hit their prime yet. They could still it could be another Brady versus Manning matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And they have years
Yep.
under them. They got. That's what I'm saying. Like they're both young, but both skilled. And going into the new era of what football is going to be, it's all about the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see those two compete against each other and compete at a high level for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what could happen. We always say some injuries just take you out.
You see it now. You see it now with Mahomes. Yeah, definitely.
I remember a few years back, everybody was raving about Wentz.
Lamar. Yeah,
Wentz this and Wentz that, and it just took one good injury, and he's not the same.
He's not the same player. He's not the same player. Yeah.
You never know what could happen. At this point, I'm not counting the Chiefs out just yet until I see who's under center. Once I see who's under center, I'm like, yeah. I'm prone to count you out of this Henny because I don't think Henny can. Anything's not possible with Henny. I'm sorry.
It's not.
Anything's not possible with
my son. My son has been a Jacksonville fan. My son's a Jacksonville fan, and he's seen Henny play. Even my son says that Chad Henne is trash. So that lets you know right there how bad he is. So yeah.
I mean, this was his first playoff appearance.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Burning bush. Yeah,
it is. So, but with that being said, we're gonna go to predictions for the AFC Championship game, and we can start at the top with my BFF and her husband. And then we're gonna go around the room.
I'll just read this real quick. This seemed to be a challenge, especially when they have time to prepare. Last game with the Chiefs, we weren't sure who to prepare for them or the Titans due to COVID. So the game plan was split, and the results showed in their game play on the field.
I agree with that. I think as the Bills, as the season went on, the Bills showed their potential. And right now, I said it last week. the Bills are peaking good. They're peaking right now. They're hot right now. And I said
they're confident.
And they're confident
Because skyrocketed every week.
Right. And like I said, shout out to Sean McDermott. I think either him or the Browns coach should be coach of the year. But consider the fact that Buffalo stayed with him and they didn't fire him. They stayed the course. And now look at you're reaping the benefits now of their success. And then also their OC turned down the San Diego job. He's coming back to Buffalo. So that's huge. That is huge for Buffalo. And considering the growth and development for Josh Allen, the fact that his OC stayed and they're going to continue to work together, Buffalo will be a contender for years for the AFC, not only the AFC, but the NFL in general.
Yep.
We talked about this last week. And we all said it. The Chiefs are the cream of the crop right now.
Mm-hmm. True.
Give it about a year or two, and the AFC is going to be wide for the taking. It's going to be wide open.
They got great quarterbacks.
Because
they got great quarterbacks.
You got the Bills who are coming.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns, with what they did this year, they are coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put the Ravens in there because y'all know I told y'all I don't trust.
We're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about that too. So
we'll talk about that in a minute.
We're gonna talk about that,
but that the AFC is gonna be wide open, and that word parity. Oh God, it's a breath of fresh air because you just don't know who's
because you gotta think about it. Roethlisberger, Brady, and Manning, they dominated the AFC for years. You look at it like it was never a Super Bowl without one of them three in it. Brady. I mean, so to see the fact that it's going to be a new face in the Super Bowl, of course they're going to go against the old lines in the NFC, but to see the fact that it's not Brady, it's not Mahomes. I mean, not Brady, it's not Roethlisberger, it's not Manning representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. It's definitely refreshing.
It is also refreshing, yeah, but it's weird.
But Brady might be in the Super Bowl. No, you never know if they knock off Green Bay. He might be back in it. So
I don't think that's gonna happen.
If this man comes, I keep saying if he comes to the NFC, which he did, he's in the NFC now. If this man takes them to the Super Bowl
and
wins, I'm just like, you know what? At this point,
if Tom Brady goes to the Super Bowl and wins it, he is the undefeated GOAT. That's it.
Can't argue.
You can't argue with that. I mean, I said Dan Marino, I said Joe Montana, but the fact that he went to the NFC and he's in another conference championship again, what's this, like his 13th, 14th, 12th, 13th conference championship? And then he knocks off Aaron Rodgers. Then he goes and beats an up-and-coming great quarterback in either the Chiefs or the Bills. Just give him the title. He is the undisputed GOAT.
And then he'll have seven
rings.
Wow.
Seven rings.
And they posted a stat, and I could not believe it. He has the most playoff victories, except for 5 franchises that he has not gone. Yes, the most playoff victories among a player.
That's crazy.
Has more playoff victories than franchises, except for 5. And I'm like, whoa, are you serious?
That's crazy.
He has 32 playoff victories. 37 is Green Bay. New England has 37, the team. And you're at 32. And keep in mind, you came from New England and you helped them get to multiple multiple playoff victories. But to have 32 under your belt.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The longevity, that is great. I tell everybody I appreciate what he did for New England. I really do. That longevity, that just speaks volumes.
Consistency. And Sam said his 14th conference championship. That's great. So, Phil, I want to ask you a question because you are a Patriots fan. I'll ask you a question. Do you think that the Patriots let him go too soon? Consider the fact that, I understand it was time. It was time. But do you think so? Now, do you think that, consider the fact that New England struggled and didn't make the playoffs this year, and then Tom Brady's playing in his 14th consecutive conference championship? You said it was time. Do you think maybe? Do you think maybe he should have stayed another year just in case, so they can groom in another quarterback, or they made the right decision?
I've always said when the time it was time to rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Did I want him to stay in New England? Yes, I wanted him to retire a Patriot.
Mm-hmm.
But it was time to rebuild. Everybody keeps saying rebuild, but it's the New England Patriots. Age catches everybody.
What they say also, Father Time is always undefeated.
He's on halt right now for Brady and Rodgers. He's on halt right now.
He called it the breeze, but the other two, they still fighting him. He's
on halt right now. But it was. I would love for him to have stayed and to groom another quarterback. But it just didn't happen. It really just didn't happen. And he signed 2 seasons. He signed 2-year contract with the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
I think after those 2 years, I think he will call it quits. Mm-hmm. You never know with him though. Was it too soon? No, because it was really time to rebuild for New England, and I'm glad they're doing it now. But for me, I would love for him to have stayed and retire a Patriot, but it just didn't happen that way. But no, it wasn't too soon.
Do you think it'd be another round of Brett Favre and the Vikings, where they weren't sure if he's going to retire or come back, and then at the last second, here he comes? Do you think that's what's going to happen with him in Tampa Bay?
And that's a great question, and everybody was mad at Brett Favre, but I said it before then. I said it then. With everything that you've done for the NFL, the game at that position, I don't give a damn if you decided to retire mid-season. You've earned that right. So whether he wants to come back and he just says, "Oh, well, I don't." Gronk did it. He thought he was coming back. He said, "No, I want to retire." He's earned that right. Favre earned that right. I don't think he will retire until these 2 years are up. I don't think he will until those are up. I think he's going to be one of the ones to decide when the off season is there and he's a free agent whether he wants to come back or not. But I've told everybody, if he wins a championship in one of these 2 years, even both years, if he wins 2 or 1, he will call it quits. I think he will wrap it up.
I agree with you. We'll wait till Dre to do. Okay, there you are. So my prediction this weekend, I've been riding high with the Bills all season. I am not going to stop now. So the Bills are my pick for the AFC. And the NFC, I don't know. Like it's a toss up. Like
you can't go wrong with either.
You can't go wrong either one.
I'm just gonna have to say Green Bay.
Yeah. What you think, Boom?
I like the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think the Bills defense will be a little too much for the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And that's with Mahomes playing at full health.
Whoa! Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Mahomes is playing at full health, no lingering injuries in this game, I still have the Bills by that much.
Mm-hmm. What you think, Phil?
Now,
go ahead, Boom.
If Mahomes is not playing, it's Bills all day, all game. There is nothing stopping that offense, and then the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs will be non-existent, and the Bills defense will take over and just crush the Chiefs.
Hey, he said
that's
crush.
My take. That's my take. If Mahomes does not play,
okay,
but if Mahomes plays at full health, I'm still picking. I'm picking the Bills by a hair. I think it's gonna be a 3-point game.
Wow,
3-point game, and it's be just by that much that the Bills are gonna take.
It was a 3-point game in the regular season, so I mean you can't go wrong there.
They are evenly matched. They are evenly matched. So yeah.
And then with the NFC, I am tired of seeing Brady in the Super Bowl. I really am.
I think everybody is. I think
But,
everybody
but,
is tired
but
of
hey,
seeing Brady in the
but
Super Bowl.
but it is no disrespect to Tom Brady though. He has done great things, like Phil has said, with the Patriots. I mean, dominated the league, right? That conference
Oh
dominated.
yeah. Oh yeah.
There was not without a question. We knew that Tom Brady and the Patriots were going to be in the AFC Championship game. We knew that, but I think it's finally time for Aaron Rodgers to get his second, or at a chance to get a second ring, and then you know he can be at peace. Because right now he is. I mean, it is. He is much older, but he still has the arm strength. We cannot be denied. He still has an arm.
That man's playing ball.
He's balling out, and then not only that, but this time around, don't you think that he has a complimentary running game with Aaron Jones?
He's got a lot more help than he has in seasons past. So I will say that.
So now, instead of getting those long throws down the field and scoring real quick, they can actually slow the game down and run the ball. And Aaron Jones is no punk at running a ball. He runs people over. He has the speed to take it to the house. No, any player of the game. But I think it's finally it's time for Aaron Rodgers to get over the hump. How many times has he gone to the championship game and fall short?
He's been like three or four straight. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's been to the conference championship 3 straight years. 3 straight years, I think.
I think now is about that time he breaks that plateau and just gets to the home field
and his home field.
And his the home field. So who knows how? But see, Tom Brady, he knows how to play in the cold. He played in.
That's what I'm saying. I
wasn't worried about the cold. I was just home field. They actually are allowing fans in Green Bay, and
I've seen Tom Brady play.
Yeah,
when he was against the wall. So, and yes, Sam, I did believe that this is his actual first NFC Championship game that he's hosted, because every NFC Championship game he's been to, he's been on the road. Chicago, Seattle, Atlanta, and this is his actual first. San Francisco as well. This is his first actual NFC Championship game that he's going to host at home. So he's already like
pumped.
He's going to show out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something. So I'm predicting it's going to be the Bills and the Packers in the Super Bowl.
All right, what you think, Phil?
Okay, like I said, it depends on how bad Mahomes is banged up. If he plays, let me put it this way: if he plays, it'll be a close game. If he's out, it's gonna be a blowout. So I don't trust any. I don't trust Chad behind that quarter. I don't trust him under that center.
Yeah, anything is possible. It's gonna be impossible. He's gonna lose. It's gonna lose if he plays.
I don't trust him behind that center.
He's gonna lose if he
But
plays.
here we are again. I'm gonna go with the Bills. Either way, I think the Bills finally break. They just break through finally, and they finally get to the Super Bowl. Now, will they win it? I don't know. But I think the Bills will go. Mm-hmm. And for the NFC, me and Dre had this debate. They are both.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with either.
Spectacular quarterbacks. But I can't bet against the person who has consistently done it for year in and year out. I just can't. I can't bet against that guy. It's going to be close, but I'm going to say it will be the Bills and Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. It's my turn. Oh, go ahead, Phil. If you're still.
I mean, as we said earlier, everybody says, "Oh, well, look at the regular season." Regular season means nothing. You saw what happened to the Saints. They beat the Bucks twice, and it soundly at that twice. And what happened? You got playoff Tom and pump team, and they did that. Now, if we want to take away anything from the regular season, seemed like those boys found a way to stop that man from putting those points on the board. Sounded like they found a way. I'm not. This is a whole different story. It's playoffs, different story. You basically scrapped even 0-0.
Yeah.
But I really think that Tom Brady and his veteran leadership, being there before so many times, he will find a way to gather his troops in the cold in Green Bay, and they will sneak off a win in Green Bay. It will be close. I'm is in between a range of 3 points to 7, but it will be close.
It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a close game. All right. This is what I'm gonna say. As far as
we
he's
lost
coming, he'll
Phil.
probably come back. So this is I will say this about both championship games. Both teams deserve to be. All teams that are involved in this championship conference championship weekend, they all deserve it. They all deserve to be there. They did what they had to do to get there, and I congratulate all four of them. It's kind of refreshing. I mean, even though Brady is still in it, it's kind of refreshing to see new faces at the quarterback position vying for a championship. So I salute that. Now, as far as the Bills and the Chiefs, Buffalo's the hottest team. I said it plenty times on the show, on my Facebook. I said Buffalo is the only threat to the Chiefs, and they are the hottest team right now. And we don't know what shape Mahomes is going to be in come this Sunday. But I said the Chiefs will make it to Tampa, and I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with that pick. Especially if Mahomes play, because I'd rather have a 80% or 75% Mahomes be my quarterback over 100% Chad Henne. So I'm still going to ride the Chiefs to Tampa. I think they get it done. I think that, even though Buffalo has an awesome team, Sean McDermott has done a wonderful job in Orchard Park. You can't go against Mahomes. You can't go against Mahomes. And he's going to play. I think he's going to play. They're just going to keep it a mystery for this week because nobody, they don't really want to put that out there because it makes Buffalo game plan. They can't kind of game plan around Mahomes because they don't know who's going to play. But I'm going with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will get it done. They're playing at home. If this was in Buffalo, it'd be a whole different story. Bills Mafia, who I think are the greatest fans in football. It's not just football, but in sports. The greatest fans out there. But they're at Arrowhead. And the Chiefs, even though they have their struggles, they got the home field. It's hard to win at Arrowhead, even with not all the crazies in there. It's hard to win in Arrowhead. I think the Chiefs pull it out. It's not going to be a shootout. I don't think it's going to be a shootout like some people say. I think it's going to be a 20-17 ball game. I think the Chiefs will pull it out by a field goal. I think Booker will kick the game-winning field goal and send Kansas City the champ. It'll be like 20-17 or 23-20. That's my prediction. As far as the NFC and the conference championship NFC, we all know how great Tom Brady is. We all know that if he wins, if he goes to Tampa and he wins, and consider the fact that Tampa will be the first team in the NFL to play the Super Bowl at home. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I think Aaron Rodgers is on a mission. He's tired of people talking about how he can't get over the hump to get to the Super Bowl. They talk about how as great of a quarterback that Aaron Rodgers is, he has a tendency to choke come playoff time, especially when home field advantage has been handed to him on a silver platter. He is my choice for MVP over Mahomes. The man is 36, 37 and still putting up stats like he's 25, 26. I think Green Bay gets it done. I think Aaron Rodgers gets the GOAT, the undisputed GOAT. I think he slides by the GOAT Brady. And this will be another low scoring game. I got it. Matter of fact, it won't be a low scoring game. I got the Packers winning 28-24 over Tom Brady and the Bucs. Consider the fact that even though Aaron Donald didn't play against the Rams defense is slightly better than Tampa Bay. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to pick his spots. He's going to give what the defense gives to him. And I think that considering the fact that he doesn't have to do it by himself like because you see what happened previous year past. Green Bay was, if Aaron Rodgers don't perform well, the team suffers. But the fact they got a strong running game, Devontae Adams to me is a top 5 receiver in the league. Valdez Scantling is doing good. Their defense can actually get to the quarterback, and we know Tom Brady, when he gets hit, he starts getting happy feet when he gets hit.
Yep.
I think Green Bay does just enough. They're going to make more plays than Tampa Bay, and I got them going to Tampa, and I'm sticking with that. I'm sticking with that plan. It's going to be a State Farm, like Sam said. It's going to be a State Farm Super Bowl. It's going to be the old line Rodgers versus the young line Mahomes in Tampa.
Like you said, it can't go.
You can't go wrong with either one.
Wrong with either one.
You can't.
My question is, and I hate to say it, but how many times can we keep giving Aaron Rodgers that pass for not getting or winning the big game or getting to the big dance?
That's why I think that's why that's going to motivate him to win on Sunday, because he's heard the talk. He's got plenty of MVPs. He hasn't hosted a championship here. He's been to 3 or 4 straight NFC championship games, and he's always got his ass kicked. I think that's the motivation
here.
Yeah, and he's won, but that was like 2011. You know, yeah. I mean, every NFC championship he's been to since that win, he's got his ass kicked. Like, he's been beaten. I mean, I think the only game that he was close in was the game against Seattle when they went. But it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault because the dude couldn't hold on. He couldn't hold on to the ball. But every other championship, he's been, he got his ass whooped. So I mean, I think that's going to motivate him to perform and do better, and he's going to get over the hump. I think he really is. So,
Tariq said it best.
Wait, he told me to shut up. I know.
You talking about Aaron Rodgers and giving him an excuse, and then you was like, yeah. He said it best. He said it best. But I'm not knocking Aaron Rodgers by far. You've heard me say this man is a great quarterback. However, even though you're home, how many times have we seen Tom Brady go into a hostile environment and pull off a victory?
Countless times. That's why,
that's why it's hard for me to count them out. Though their defense can be suspectish at times, right now they're peaking at the right. They're peaked at the right time, and they're playing great. Somehow, some way, that old man pulls it out. Somehow, some way. I don't know how he does it, but somehow, some way, I cannot bet against that old man for some odd. As much as I would love to bet against him, because he left New England, I can't be. I'm not really bitter. I'm just like I just didn't want to see him leave, and it should have been with New England. He should have been winning with New England.
Yeah,
but I can't bet against him. It's hard for me to bet against that guy.
And you know what? Honestly, I think both Brady and Rodgers have something to prove, because if Brady does go to the Super Bowl and Rodgers loses again, that talk is going to get a little louder. It's going to get a little louder with Aaron Rodgers. As gifted as he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. If he loses on Sunday, the talk is going to get louder. It's going to get real loud. It really is. So I think Aaron Rodgers, like you said, like Brian said, he's tired of the talk. And Sam said it too. He said, he reads the stuff all the time about how he can't get over the hump. He's reading, he's listening, and he's definitely they're both on a mission. Tom Brady's on the mission to win without Bill, and Aaron Rodgers is on the mission to win so he could shut people up to saying that he can't get over the hump. So the old men, like I said, it's a grumpy old men in the NFC Championship game. That's basically what it is. Two grumpy old men trying to fight, pretty much. Literally a prehistoric game. Literally,
it needs to be on the History Channel. It really does. It really does. You went from quarterback to both in their 40s, now just somebody who's just 37. It still needs to be on the History Channel. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be a good football weekend. It'll be good. Just got to see how this plays out.
Definitely. But like Sam said, Tampa's secondary is suspect, and if you let Devontae Adams go wild, it's gonna be a long game for them for that secondary. If they let him go wild, and consider the fact that Devontae Adams did pretty decent against one of the best cornerbacks in the league, Jalen Ramsey. I think his confidence is high right now. Adams' confidence is high right now. So, and I don't see nobody on that Tampa Bay secondary that is not better than Jalen Ramsey.
No, we're not disputing that at all.
Right.
But to see what they did last night to play together well and covered well,
definitely.
If you can do that, I can take that over any one player that can shut down anybody. I can take that over anybody. Mm-hmm. If the team as a whole steps up and play like they played in that second half, then we're going to see it'll be a different story. It can totally be a different story.
It's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be. I
still can't believe the guy is 43.
He said he wanted to play till he was 50. I'm not sure that's
miss me with that. Miss me with that. Now that 50 thing is not realistic. Miss me with that.
It's not. But
I looked at his stats, and dare I say that's another person who could be in Super Bowl contention. Not Super Bowl, but MVP contention.
Oh, Tom Brady. Like I said, he could have been. He could have been. But we all know Rodgers is going to win it. I think Rodgers will be MVP this year.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you guys right there because we can keep going on and on forever. We have a few more things to talk about, and since we are talking about Bills Mafia, I do want to shout out to Bills Mafia. Cedric, if you're listening, your fan base is amazeballs. Shout out to Bills Mafia for donating to Lamar State charity $360,000. His charity helps kids get meals on the weekends when they don't have access to a meal. I've been reading, and they stated that this could help over 2,000 kids.
3,000.
3,000 now.
Because it because it was 2,000 when it was at 240,000 donated, but now it's at over 360. There's over 3,000 meals being donated. So with that, that just tells you that these fans they don't like injuries, and that's good sportsmanship right there. He was not trying to get the player that hit him was not trying to make him get him hurt on purpose. And it was just the way he fell the hard back and hit his head on that cold turf. So classy move. I respect the Bills Mafia, even though they're crazy jumping through tables and whatnot. But this is a classy move showing, hey, even though we're against you in this game, but we're together in life. So very, very classy move.
Oh yeah. And like I said, it's they're like I said, the greatest fans in all of sports. And consider the fact, like I said, if it wasn't for the Chiefs being in the AFC Championship game, I would definitely be pulling for Buffalo because consider the fact that they've been through. I thought Atlanta fans we had it hard, but the fact that you went to 4 straight Super Bowls and didn't win one, they're chomping at the bit right now. They have a chance to go back. They have a team that's they're playing together. I can't. All I can do is respect them for that because you don't see rival teams doing that.
Nope.
So when I read the story, I was just like, wow, that's pretty classy of them. And we all know the stories. So I mean, we know how Bills Mafia is. Like I said, they jump through tables. They are buck wild. Like they are buck wild. But at the same time, to see stuff like that, and my brother-in-law just checked in. He said it. It's good to see stuff like that, especially what's going on in this country right now. That is something to see. That's very good to see.
And you know what to make this even better? Okay, go ahead. Tell them.
Go ahead, Tariq. What you say?
Okay. So to make this even like all come together and make it even this much more wholesome is that Lamar Jackson after the game signed autograph, not just for the Ravens fans but for Bills fans as well.
Yeah, he took pictures too. He
Yeah,
took pictures with him.
and he didn't even know that this charity was going on or this donation by the Bills Mafia was going on. So it makes it that much better.
Yeah.
So it is all around a good thing. And Byron, you said it best. And the time that we are living right now, it is great to see something like this happen.
Yeah, Cedric's comment too. I didn't even know about the fact that they did that for Josh Allen's grandma. So that's you got to salute stuff like that because players are human too. Players are human. Players,
Yep.
we see them on these on playing their game, and we think they're robots. They're out there performing. They're out there performing, doing doing what they need to do. But they're human too, and they have feelings as well. Like I think they take the game. I mean, they don't get me wrong; they're very passionate about the game, but I think that they have another side to them that a lot of us don't really see. And us fans kind of take it overboard, But I think a lot of these players in the league, they're very cordial and respectful of each other. So, I mean, that warms my heart, considering the fact that what's going on in this country with the politics and the all the current events that's going on and stuff like that. This was good. This was good.
This was a heartwarming situation that we had to talk about. You tell him, Tariq. You tell him. You tell him. We'll talk to Dre about the accident later. Whatever accident we keep having.
The accident.
Tariq,
he's feeling it.
Where?
Mommy's car.
Mommy's car again? Either mommy gets everyone is gunning for mommy, or mommy can't drive. So, what is it?
Mommy has a perfect driving record, so it's not mommy. So
I know I don't have a perfect driving record, so hey, it is what it is.
We're going to talk about what's going 4 hours south of me and that birthday guy across from me. Houston has some issues.
Daddy.
You know what? Honestly,
everything.
Honestly,
Daddy.
They lost me at the. I don't know if it was the owner or the general manager. One of them said that we can't let the inmates run the asylum. Consider the fact that
the owner.
The owner. He must, because the whole Colin Kaepernick situation with the kneeling, and he came out and said that we can't have the inmates running the asylum, and that kind of struck a very strong chord with me, because that lets me know where he stands on the whole equality issue. And to see, I mean, they interviewed Eric Bieniemy, but that's kind of more like that was more like a pity interview. That wasn't
their pick. That was their shut up.
That was more right. That was more of we're trying to do damage control for our team, because everybody basically is like, screw the Texans. And then they threw me off. When they traded DeAndre Hopkins for a Super Nintendo. And it's
the regular Nintendo. Regular
Nintendo.
And Skittles.
And it's really difficult it's really crazy when you have two of the most humble guys to ever play for the Texans, and Andre Johnson and Deshaun Watson, both speaking out about this. Because Andre Johnson, the last time I seen Andre Johnson get upset about anything is when he gave Cortland Finnegan them skibbity paps.
Yep.
So to see Andre Johnson tell Deshaun Watson to stand your ground and to make changes, that says a lot, because Andre Johnson doesn't talk a whole lot. He's probably one of the most humblest guys I've ever seen play this game. And to see him talk about it, that's crazy. And I kind of feel bad for Deshaun Watson, because he just signed that huge extension last year. I think he signed a huge extension last year. And to see how this team has how this front office is sabotaging this franchise. It's crazy. You trade away your star receiver for some skills and a Super Nintendo or old Nintendo. You don't get any better on defense. You don't get any better on offense. You're basically dependent on Deshaun. And Deshaun Watson put up crazy numbers like this. He had career highs in touchdowns and pass yards. He only threw 7 interceptions.
And he ran for his life again.
And he ran. It's kind of like what Aaron Rodgers went through in Green Bay, where they just said, we're going to depend on you. You're this great quarterback. You're going to do it by yourself with no help. That's the crazy part. And yes, JJ Watt too as well. But I'm just speaking from experience. Like, I've never seen Andre Johnson get this animated about it. So there are threats, there are rumors out there that Deshaun Watson is considering sitting out this season. And I don't blame him if he does. Because this sport, you only can play. What's the average career in the NFL? 5 or 6 years, at the most.
Depending on the position.
Well, as a quarterback or a running back.
Quarterback is probably a little bit longer, just depending on the team, because you could, we just talked about 3 men that have a great long career. So it just really depends on how your protection. If he doesn't get any protection, he's not going to have a long career like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers,
right,
or even Drew Brees. Right. He's going to be done real soon because his body won't be able to handle it by the time he gets in his mid-30s. Not even mid-30s, early 30s.
Late 30s. I mean, late 20s. Late 20s. Let's be honest. He could be 28, 29, and he could be playing he's another great quarterback, a great young quarterback. I know we talked about Allen, we talked about Mahomes, we talked about Lamar Jackson, we talked about Baker Mayfield. That's another great young quarterback that Houston has, and they're basically pissing away his prime years. Yeah, I saw the video. I know y'all saw the video as well when JJ Watt actually apologized to Deshaun Watson for wasting a year. If I'm the owner, I'm like, what do I need to do to make this work? Because I have a great quarterback, and Brian said it too. Whoever made that decision to trade away the DeAndre Hopkins, he would have he did get fired. Bill O'Brien, he did get fired, but
not immediately though.
Not immediately, he hasn't. But I would even, if I was the owner, I wouldn't even make them fix the list to say that.
But you got to remember, he was a GM too.
That's what I'm saying. He was
the coach and the GM. They ain't gonna let that happen no more.
If I'm the owner, I don't care if you're the GM, the whatever. You're not trading away my star receiver for a pack. Like, they traded away for a off injured running back in David Johnson, he was good in his earlier years, but he's a shell of himself.
He woke up at like game 10, 11. When it was too late.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, I still wasn't trading away for it.
Oh no,
because we all know DeAndre Hopkins is basically 1A, 1B to Julio. He's probably one of the best. He is probably one of the best receivers in football. And you trade him away for an off injured running back who you don't know if he's going to play. Come game time. You know what I'm saying? So. But we all know that Alabama is the place to go where people want to go and resurrect their careers. I mean, look at Steve Sarkisian. He is head coach of Texas. Lane Kiffin's at Ole Miss. We all know that if you want to go and get another jump start on your career, just go play for Nick Saban for a year or two, do some good numbers, and then you'll have another job. It always happens. Yeah. So, I mean, the Texans are in dire straits right now. And consider the fact that if Deshaun Watson doesn't play this season, do you know the ramifications of that? And then on top of that, I mean, LaDon, I think you saw it too. Nobody really wants to coach Houston. They really don't, because they're over the cap. They can't really. Their quarterback might not play. Like, I mean, I'll go coaching because I get that $1 million easy, but nobody really wants to play for Houston because of these issues. It starts at the top with McNair, and and the general manager. Player personnel. It starts at the top. It starts at the top. And if I'm the general manager and my star quarterback's upset, I would do anything and everything I can to make that man happy because he's basically the face of my franchise. So it's a mess down there in Houston. Like they say, what Tom Hanks say on Apollo 13, Houston, we got a problem.
Yep. That there's a whole lot of reports coming out saying Deshaun does not want to play, and he is willing to forego that no trade clause in his contract to be traded to a team of his choosing. Basically, one of the teams that he brought up was Miami. Now, before we get into him and going to Miami, I want to bring up what the hell were they doing with Tua this season? Because to me, it seemed like they were pulling Tua and putting in Fitzpatrick for no reason at all.
But they pulled Fitzpatrick and for Tua for no reason at all. You got to remember when they pulled Fitzpatrick, they were winning. He was winning, and they pulled him.
But when they pulled him the first time and put in Tua, they said Tua was the quarterback. He's gonna be the our face of this franchise moving forward. Why would you keep pulling him though? He wasn't doing bad. You weren't down that much or at all, but you pulled Tua to put in Fitzpatrick, like that. Even trying to be traded to Miami, they're gonna do this. They may do the same thing with Deshaun. They're gonna pull him for no reason and put in the backup, and depending
But
on who
it worked for them. A lot of people don't didn't like the rotating board windows, and I liked it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually enjoyed it, and it worked for them. And I really think one of the issues that they had that it didn't like happen for them was that last game he was hurt. Fitzpatrick was hurt. He was on the COVID list. So that I really think if he was there, I think they would have had a better chance. Would have had a better chance of winning because that 1-2 thing was actually something working for them, and we're not used to it in the pros because it hardly happens. We're used to it in college. It happens all the time in college, but it's something that it's either or. There's no in between on this. I think of liking it or don't liking it.
it happens all the time in college. I agree with you, but this is the NFL. You got receivers, running backs, linemen. Now they have to prepare for two different styles of quarterbacks. That takes a toll. I understand the plays are still the same, but you have to also realize one's a right-handed quarterback, the other one's a left. So, one side of the line is going to have to be more cautious of letting the pressure through. Because now, if the quarterback starts running, guess what? He's a left-handed quarterback. He's most likely going to run to the left.
And I get it, but just like Brian said, I'm gonna get back to you, SB. But they said they won't pull Deshaun. This is different. Deshaun is not a Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is one of those quarterbacks that comes in, saves the day. Dun, 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 dun. Deshaun is going to be, if he went there, he's going to be your starter. Tua will be his backup. Deshaun's not going there to be a backup.
But the reports were saying to trade him for Tua, so Tua would go to Houston. Tua won't be in Miami.
Yeah, if Deshaun goes to Houston, if Deshaun goes to Miami, Tua will definitely be a Texan.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they need. They need a fresh start on everything.
That's true, and I think if Deshaun Watson does go to Miami, Miami will make the playoffs.
Yeah. Now here's a question for you. We were just talking about it. What do you think about Eric Bieniemy not getting mentioned to any of these head coaching jobs?
I think because to me personally, I think because a lot of people around the league think that he's a product of Andy Reid. I think that a lot of people say that Andy Reid's calling the plays, and the fact of the matter is that I don't know if this is true or not. I heard different stories, and I heard that he's not really good with interviews. I heard he didn't really stand out as far as his interviews for the coaching job. But my question is not my question. My response is there are a lot of players out. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that shouldn't have a coaching job. I mean, look at Joe Judge in New York. That man was a special teams coach. No experience, no kind of degree, pedigree as far as being a coach. New York made him the head coach. I mean,
Same thing with Sean McVay, right?
Sean McVay, exactly. Sean McVay was one. Joe Brady. I mean, Joe Brady, he was considered to be a head coach. I mean, you got to start somewhere. I would love for him to have a chance to be a head coach, but a lot of people are kind of staying away from him because they think he doesn't call the plays of Kansas City. They think that's all Reed, and I think he's just a product of that. But I also think that he should have a chance. I mean, look at McDaniels in New England. Everybody knows, Bill Belichick pretty much runs the show up there, but he's still getting more chances than Bieniemy is. John Harbaugh as well. John Harbaugh came from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Who's the guy? It was another guy. Like, give him a chance. Give him a chance. What does he have to lose? What do you have to lose having him? And I hope, honestly, as much as people say the Texans job is undesirable, if every enemy takes it, I hope he does an awesome job. I hope him and Watson get on the same page and they slowly build that franchise. Because right now, it's a whole dumpster fire down there in Houston. So,
yep.
But I think that he should get a chance. To me, honestly, I think he gets a chance because I mean, like I said, if Joe Judge can get a chance being a head coach, every enemy does as well. So, and I'm sorry, Sam, I don't mean to pick on you. I don't mean to pick on you, Giants, but that when I heard that they hired him, and I was just like,
we had a good laugh.
I was like, how? In the words of Kanye West, houseway, how did he get that job? You know what I'm saying? Like, but it all goes back. It all goes back time and time again. Everybody wants to be the Patriots because a lot of these guys that they hire come from New England.
Yep.
So everybody wants to do it the New England way, but time and time again, you can't duplicate stuff like that. You can't duplicate success like that. So he should avoid Houston, but me personally, I think he should get a chance. I mean,
we're going to do a rally today. Sorry about that.
Well, he said, I think
they wanted to do a rally today
because of safety. Because of safety, right?
Yeah, Watson was like, "Please don't do it. Our numbers are already crazy. We do not need anybody else."
Yeah, and what's the name? Arizona has took over the top spot for that. So I saw that earlier. Arizona is the new hot spot for the corona. So, but I think he should get a chance. I mean, what's wrong? Yeah, exactly, Brian. New England South. Detroit tried to do it, they failed. New York, the jury's still out on them. Houston just hired a GM. Their GM came from New England. Like, I mean, the only team that's having success with a New England product is Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. So I mean, that's
hold on, and the tight end.
Rob Gronkowski.
And Gronk.
And speaking of Gronkowski, he said he wants to come back next year, so we'll see.
If he comes back, Brady coming back. So
well, Brady's on a 2-year deal. So this year, next year, then we'll see what after that one. So he's on a 2-year deal. So, but I think the enemy should get a chance. That's just my thing. And even if he has to go to,
I think it would keep Deshaun there.
Yeah, because Mahomes recommended Bieniemy to Watson. So I mean, I'm sure, like I said, all players talk. I'm sure they talk. But and Flores as well. Yes, that's two. So I mean, if as bad as a dumpster fire it is down in Houston, if Bieniemy gets a chance to resurrect that team, all I could do is just support it, especially with the lack of black coaches in the NFL anyway.
Exactly.
That'll definitely be a big, because I mean, how many black coaches in there? What Tomlin, Flores, who else is there?
They just hired.
And then the first Muslim American coach in New York, the Jets.
I am so happy about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard. It's hard out here. Robert Salah, yeah. So that's like what, 3? 3 minority coaches and head coaches.
Yeah, because
3.
they fired. Like I said, they fired the head coach for the San Diego Chargers.
They fired Lynn. Carpenter only had 1 year. Carpenter only had 1 year in Arizona before they got Kingsbury.
And I call BS on that.
I mean, who else? I mean, that's only 3, and there's 32 teams in the league. So when I see a chance for a black head coach to get hired, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So if the enemy ends up going, hey, I gotta absolutely. Yeah, I know Brian's just happy that Gase is gone. He's happy that he's gone. So Riviera, I guess you can put Riviera in there as well. He's a minority.
Yeah,
too,
hey, if they brown, they with us.
yeah, so I mean, so that's like 4. That's technically 4 out of 32. So yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. So I'm all for it. So let's hope the enemy makes it 5.
Yes, we can hope and pray.
Definitely.
We already talked about Mahomes' injury. We kind of hit on Lamar Jackson's injury. I just hate that happened.
It's part of the game.
It is part of the game, and I hate that it happened. But I will say this, ladies. Moms, girlfriends, wives, stop it. Stop it on social media, coming on social media saying, this guy is evil, he hurt my son. Patrick Mahomes' mommy went on Twitter rant because, he's hurt. Stop it. It's part of the game. You know what comes with this game. Stop.
Oh, dang. You saw that?
And I saw that coming. I saw this coming. Ravens released and they released RG3 today.
Yeah, so when he didn't play on what they play Saturday or Sunday?
He hasn't played in actually weeks.
So yeah,
he's been a healthy
scratch. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. So yeah. But
stop it, ladies. Stop it. Like seriously, stop it. It makes the women that understand the game look bad.
She sounds like Brent Grimes' wife, because Brent Grimes' wife was notorious for going on Twitter rants talking shit. And
me and Brian stalked her Instagram and Twitter for all of it. Kiko,
yeah. Miko Grimes.
Miko Grimes. She was batshit crazy. I think they just made her. I think they made her disable her social media because you can't find her no more.
Between her and Tom Brady's wife, when she went on that tirade about the Super Bowl and all that stuff. I agree with you, man. Sometimes, look, just like I had a whole debate about what happened with that touchback in Kansas City, and people talk about, oh, he was trying to hurt him, he should have led with his helmet. They know what they signed up for. Do I want them to intentionally hurt people? No, I don't want that to happen. But you can't let them score. Somebody said they should let them score. Why? Why are you gonna let if I'm a coach and my player lets somebody else score because of safety reasons, he's gonna be benched the whole game. I'm sitting him down the whole game because I'd rather you take a penalty. I'd rather you take a penalty for a hit like that than let somebody just score, because we all know football is a brutal game. Yep. They know what players sign up for. Even when I was playing Pop Warner middle school, high school football, I knew what the risk was playing football. One play away. That's the same. One play away. You playing knowing the risk, and that's not just football. That's any sport. You know the risk. You know the risk. So yeah,
people calling that dude that tackled or put that hit on Mahomes, calling him a dirty player. That was not a dirty hit.
It was not a dirty. It just happened.
It was just how it happened and how we fell, how they landed on the ground.
It happened.
There was nothing dirty about it. He didn't do it on purpose. He even came out and said it. Hey, I'm not a dirty player. I didn't do it on purpose. And then Mahomes even came back and said, "All good, brother."
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. We all know. Knew. Yeah, we knew. So I mean, that's how it happens. Like, I hate when people say, "Oh, he's trying to hurt him on purpose." We all know when you watch football, If you think that's bad, you should see it back in like the 80s and 90s when they had these rules.
We've seen some plays that they try to hurt people on purpose. This ain't it.
LaDonna, you remember when LeVar Arrington knocked out Troy Aikman, and then Steve Young got knocked out by I don't know who the player was, but Steve Young got knocked out.
I remember when Steve Young got knocked out too.
Yeah, and Troy Aikman, LeVar Arrington knocked out Troy Aikman. Yeah, knocked out Troy Aikman, and Troy Aikman basically said, "I'm done with football." Mm-hmm. It happens. It happens. So
99.
Yeah, it happens. So I mean,
or 98, 99, somewhere around there.
So I need people to chill out with this whole, player safety things, because we all know how the game is played, and the players that's why they get paid millions of dollars, because they know the risk. So stop it with this whole. Don't try, stop it with this whole. They try to hurt him on purpose. That's bullshit, because we all know what they signed up for. Now, don't be like a Dominic and stomp on somebody's calf. That's different. But if you're playing a game and you're trying to stop another player from scoring,
it was Williams. It was
Aeneas Williams. Yeah, it was Aeneas. Because matter of fact, I remember because Lawrence Phillips missed the block.
Yep.
And if you don't, so. But don't kill me with that whole bullshit about hurt players, because we all know what they signed up for.
Now, if these people that are saying they're hurting players on purpose, now if they would have said they missed the call, I agree with that. They missed the call. They missed the Hamilton and that would have negated that touchback, and there would just been a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
You know what? And I'd rather for my players to take the penalty than to let the guy score. Because if you let the man score, I'm sitting your ass down, because you're so worried about the player's safety. I'm not worried about that. Make the play, and then if you get a flag, we'll deal with that later on down the road. But just letting the guy score, like one guy said, he should just let him score. You say, you know what? Hey, you can sit your ass down because you don't want to play. You don't want to play
professional sports.
You don't play. Exactly. If you don't want to play, if you don't want to get hurt or risk an injury, don't play. But go ahead, Phil.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
First off, with that play, it was a missed call.
Oh yeah, definitely missed call. Definitely missed call.
He did lead with his head and made contact.
Mm-hmm.
However, everybody called me an asshole when I said this. That play don't take place if you just simply ran your ass out of bounds. Live to do another play. You didn't have to you had plenty of time left to score a touchdown. And at that point, had you just went out of bounds, you would have gotten that touchdown, because Kansas City does not do great with stopping the run. They don't do great with that.
Mm-hmm.
With Chubb in that backfield, you're trying to tell me you couldn't have ran 2 yards? He couldn't have ran 2 yards, 3 yards to get that touchdown.
Either him or Hunt.
He should not have reached. He shouldn't have done that. However, it was a missed call, and I'm all for player safety. I do not like leading with the helmet to make contact, because either you're going to hurt yourself or you're going to hurt someone else. I do not like that. But was it a dirty play? Absolutely not.
No,
By far, it was not a dirty
play.
He was trying to stop the offensive player from making a play, which was a touchdown. Now, had he said, well, I can't hit him low, had he not, that ball hits that power line and we got a touchdown. But he made a play. It was not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks that it did happen, but most importantly, neither one of them came up with an injury. So that's the most important thing for me.
True indeed. So Phil, I know you was gone when we was talking about, you could talk about it briefly for a little bit, and then we can move on. I know we talked about the Houston Texans situation, and you was kind of gone, and then you came back. How do you feel about the whole Houston Texans situation with Deshaun Watson and the whole, Houston's being an undesirable place for coaches to go?
Who are they?
The Texans?
Who them? Who them?
I mean, well, how you feel about Deshaun Watson, though? I mean, well, how you feel about Deshaun, though?
Sucks for him.
Okay.
It sucks for him. A great talent. He's a great talent, but it sucks for him.
Mm-hmm.
When I read that was the most undesirable team that a coach wanted to land, I thought the Eagles would have had that. But it's indeed the Texans. You're telling me the Texans? When I see a quarterback of his caliber, I would jump at that chance So that lets me know there's something wrong in the front office. It's just not coaching wise of the players. There's something in the front office, and that's a cause for concern. So now you have, what if he says he wants out? He don't want to be there anymore. And you put this time in. He's put this time in to get better. He's thinking that you're going to give him the players to make to make the team better, so that you can be in championship contention. Because I thought they were on the right path. Then they made this ridiculous trade. You got really nothing in return. You really didn't get anything in return, and now as I was watching some stuff on the field, they go with the access and stuff. I heard Wyatt told him we wasted one of your years.
Yeah, JJ Watt. Yeah.
And I said, wow,
that's
we
crazy.
wasted one of his years. So at this point, why would I want to be there? You're not going to put anybody around me for me to win. You took away the number one target. And
that's still crazy. That is still crazy.
And that is the second worst trade. Next behind the Khalil Mack BS.
Yes.
That's the second. That's the second worst. Okay. And I sat back and I said, well, who's he gonna throw to? Himself? The other team? Like, who's he gonna throw to? And
now he's what happened this year. Now, right now, from what I read this afternoon, he's ignoring any calls that come from the Texans.
I would ignore everything too. Everybody.
So my question to you guys is: do you think Deshaun Watson is going to sit out next season?
Yep.
I would. I would. If you can't put any pieces around me, I would.
I think he will. I think he will too. I think he will too. Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is he led the league in passing yards. That's the crazy thing about it. Yeah. He had over 4,600 passing yards, 33 touchdowns to only 7 interceptions. And
still did exceptionally well without having a prime target like he did have, without having a lot of pieces around him. It sucks. Everybody, and I said this earlier. I was asked this question earlier. It was like, well, how do you feel about it? It sucks for him. It was that sounds like a little ash-holish of you to say that, but no, seriously, it sucks for him
especially after he signed that extension.
You sign an extension to watch your best player go, your best receiver go. You have nothing really in return.
After, because I said that too. He signed the extension after the trade.
Oh, he signed it after the trade?
He signed it after the trade.
He dumb as hell. Because there's no way I signed after that. You just showed me that you're going to get rid of my prime target, get nothing in return. You expect me to make water out of wine? I don't think so.
And even then, he led the league in multiple categories.
Yep.
Yeah, he was the most yards. The most yards. Yeah.
So that he's a good quarterback, and always can get better. I mean, that's with any quarterback out there. Always get better.
He's among the great young. I mean, we talk about Mahomes, we talk about Allen, we talk about Baker Mayfield, but Deshaun Watson is right there as far as
he's great young quarterback. He's definitely coming. Now imagine
having him himself, who had the no trade clause put in his contract, asking to be traded, tells you, like how Brian said, how dysfunctional this franchise is.
Now, I'm telling him to chill out. Now, I'm telling him to chill out in this regard. Now, you don't want to take your ass and get traded from Texas and end up a Jet. You don't want to do that.
Wait. Brian will welcome that trade if it happens.
Of course, Brian would welcome the trade. It wouldn't be the ideal thing for him.
Hey, Brian said they should trade Darnold and some picks to Houston and get Deshaun Watson. He would be happy with that.
That'll be the first worst trade. That'll be the very first worst trade ever.
But Brian would be happy with it. He really would be happy with it. I think Brian,
of course, Brian would. I'm not saying for Brian. I'm talking about for Deshaun. That wouldn't be the ideal thing to do. Don't go to the Jets.
Brian would be crying, running through the streets of Kansas City.
But you know what?
Loving life.
Whenever I think of the Jets, I keep going back to Mark Sanchez and the famous butt play. Like you get.
But he
They
was
hey
still,
look, the
does that
Jets are a
count?
long way. They're a long way from the Rex Ryan days when they were actually pretty good.
They're a long way from that, and I don't want to bring him in a situation where he has to wait and rebuild. Yes, he is young, but he has the quality and the quantity to go far
It's like
now,
going from
to win now.
it's going from one bad situation to another bad
Right.
situation.
I would not. I'm not. Who trusts it?
I'd
The
rather,
only people that
I'd
the
rather
only
sit at
person that
home.
trusts the Jets is Brian, and that's just
But
what it
I
is.
will say this. I will say this. They did make the best move by hiring Saleh from San Francisco. That was a good coaching hire. So that was
Salah.
good.
Salah.
Salah, my bad, Salah. That was
We'll
a good
see.
trade.
We'll see
Yeah,
how that
that's true.
ends.
Yeah,
We'll see
I'll
how
give him
that
a
ends.
chance.
But
Hey, you know me.
just imagine
I'm all about the minority coaches making it. So I'm a root for them. I'm definitely
what
rooting for 'em.
if. But let's put in this scenario: if Indy could give up something to get Deshaun,
They
that
wouldn't
would
trade
be
him.
interesting.
They wouldn't trade him within the division. They wouldn't. They
I know.
wouldn't.
I said, yeah. I
Who?
don't think they would, but I said if that would be
Indianapolis,
interesting.
The Colts.
They don't
That
have
would be
nothing to trade.
very interesting. That's what I'm saying. They don't have anything to train. If, but that would be very interesting to see him with the Colts.
That's true.
Um, I
Yeah,
at
true.
this point, I mean, just get the guy some help. Look and see who you can bring in. Just get the guy some type of help. No, nobody. It sucks. It sucks. I knew this was going to go there. We talked about this before when that trade happened.
Mm-hmm.
To send his
DeAndre.
receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that, and
One of the worst trades ever.
I said we were all just sitting here, and it was off the air. But I said, don't be surprised after a few seasons he gets fed up and say, "Nah, I'm not with this." It hasn't even been a few seasons. It's, it hasn't even been a few seasons, and he's
He
already
ain't even hit
tired
his
of it.
prime yet. That's the crazy part.
Exactly.
But there is a name out there that Houston should look at because he will be a free agent after the season. And even though he's been injured a lot, he's still a pretty good receiver. That's AJ Green. Bring AJ Green into Houston.
I
I
have
thought
an
he was a free
ideal
agent.
situation where
I thought he was a free agent this season.
That's what I'm saying. This
Yeah.
season,
Okay.
like this, he's a free agent. That's what I'm saying. He's no DeAndre Hopkins, but he's still a pretty reliable receiver. That could be something that Houston could look at too. But again, they're over the cap, so they might not be able to get him either because they're over the cap right now.
I don't think AJ goes there, and here's why. I think AJ wants. AJ's at the point in his career where he will want to win.
Yeah,
Don't be surprised if you see him on a championship team.
he could go to Green
And the
Bay.
worst, here's the thing though. Oh my God, I don't know why it's in my blood, but it's just boiling at this point. Somehow, some way, I see AJ Green lining up right next to Pat Mahomes.
Man, if if AJ Green goes to Kansas City, they're gonna if he goes to Kansas City, it's gonna be like the Warriors when they got Kevin Durant.
I feel as though that could be a possibility.
Oh my
Or he could
God!
go to
That's
Green Bay.
crazy.
You heard
He
it
could
here
go to
first.
Green Bay.
I can see him at Green Bay with Devontae Adams. I can see him at Green Bay.
And
But Kansas City, who?
and Phil be predicting stuff too. I still
Yeah, he
wait on
does.
lottery
So,
numbers.
yeah, so if he goes to Kansas City, and they can sign him for the league minimum. He don't even have to pay him a lot of money to get him. That's wow.
He has options. Don't
Definitely.
I wouldn't be shocked that if Brady would come back next year, that they find a way to get him also to give him another weapon. I wouldn't be shocked if he went to Green Bay.
But
I wouldn't be shocked if he went to the Niners.
I can see Samson, but my question to you is this: they already got Godwin, they got Brown, they got Evans. Where would AJ Green fit?
You really think I wouldn't put AJ Green on that field?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
At this point, I would put him on the field over Brown. I would.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
I would. But
I would put him over Godwin.
Okay.
I mean,
Godwin ain't
and that's no disrespect to Antonio Brown because he's come in and pitched in and he's done a good bit for this Bucks offense. But we're talking about AJ Green. I would. I wouldn't be surprised if what's the name? I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens pick him up.
He could definitely go. He could definitely Lamar give a target for Lamar Jackson. I could see him going to Baltimore because they don't really have anybody except Andrews and Brown. So yeah, definitely Baltimore.
So this is and then Samuel. I don't need I care less how many weapons he has. We're talking about AJ Green possibly going to a championship team. Those are the scenarios we're looking at. Someone who's already established or on that cusp of winning a championship. That's what I'm saying. He can end up anywhere. And at that point, when you saying weapons with Brady, how many weapons does Mahomes need at this point? I don't think he needs no more.
He don't need
Right.
that though. And I can also see him. I can also see him. As much as I hate to say it, and even though Drew Brees is retired, I can see him going to New Orleans too.
Exactly.
Hey,
So now the question is this. Now, this is the question I have. If Brees retires and he says yes, it's done, is Sean Payton really ready to put this team in Jameis Winston's hands?
I think so.
Is that organization really ready?
I think so.
Isn't he only on a 1-year contract?
I think so. Yeah, I think he is.
I think Winston's only on 1 year. Yeah.
Quarterback. I'm sorry, but quarterbacks are kind of hard to find these days. Good, reliable ones. Kind of hard to find.
Honestly, even though he threw a lot of interceptions in his last year with Tampa Bay, he still put up decent numbers. And I think, and I said it last
30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
Right. So, and my thing is this with Sean Payton, I said it yesterday. Sean Payton is a hell of a play caller on offense. Yep. He's an offensive genius. And to put him in a system with Jameis Winston in that system and then learning from Drew Brees, I think he could do a pretty decent. I think he could do pretty decent.
And
I think
Payton is a great quarterback. Great coach. Mm-hmm. But can we say he's a great quarterback? Have we seen enough from him to say he is a quarterback that has soaked up so much? Did he really soak up things from Drew Brees? That's something we don't know. You can be a backup all day and sit on that bench and never pick up one thing from a star quarterback ever in your life. And yes, he threw for 5,000 yards. Yes, he threw for 5,000 yards. 30 interceptions. 30 interceptions in one season. That's a concern for me.
That's true. But I will say this. Sean Payton he spoke very highly of Jameis Winston. He said Jameis Winston is stride. He's making great strides in practice. And honestly, at this point, if it would come down to Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, who would be my starter if I was a coach, I would take Jameis Winston over Taysom Hill any day.
No, that's that's a no-brainer. But I asked the question: are they 100% sure that if Drew Brees leaves, are they going to put the reins in his hands? That's what I would like to know.
It's like you said, Phil. It's hard out here to get a good, decent quarterback, and then
it is hard. But I don't want a quarterback that's already stinking up the joint either.
Yeah, the 30 interceptions are eyesore, but the man could play the game. And like I said before, he's in a different situation in New Orleans vice he was in Tampa. So I think Sean Payton could guide him to make the offense cater around his skill set. Don't get me wrong.
I'll give him this. He is not Cam Newton. I'll give him that.
I mean, exactly. And his skill set in that system with Sean Payton, I think he could succeed. I think he can. I really can. I hope he does, because just like head coaches, there are not a lot of black quarterbacks in the NFL. So you know me, I'm rooting for everybody black.
Since we're talking about hypotheticals, let me throw this one at you guys. What we're talking about, you going back to Houston, Deshaun. What if they gave him Des Bryant?
Des Bryant, he's not the same receiver as he was in Dallas.
He's not the same receiver, but at least it'll be a target for him to throw to.
I give him that. Give him a target, yeah, but
we still have even with the Baltimore Ravens, we still didn't see him at full potential because he was only playing 3 or 4 snaps a game.
This is true.
And he only had what 2 touchdowns in this time, and he only came in. He came in on a practice squad. Then he got bumped up to the game. Then he signed the contract on a 53-man roster. I mean, he has not gotten a full load. Now with him, with us saying he's not the same Des Bryant as he was in Dallas. Hell, he wasn't the same Des Bryant while he was in Dallas after the broken foot.
Yeah, I think after the ankle and foot issues, he's not the same. Now, is he a target for Lamar Jackson? Absolutely, but we still don't know how well he can play. But yes, give him he'd be a target for Deshaun. But I think he could be the same Des Bryant that was once here in Dallas. I think he can.
I think he can.
Stranger things have happened.
Yes, stranger things happen, but the thing with Dez Bryant was Dez Bryant, as much as a great receiver he was in Dallas, he was never fast. He was never fast. He was physical. That's one thing I give about Dez. He was physical at the line, and he won most of the jump balls that were thrown to him. Do I think he's a number one receiver? Absolutely not. I don't think he is. He could be a good number two. He could be a good number two guy if they give him a number one. If DeAndre was still there with Dez, Dez would be a good compliment to DeAndre as far as being a number two guy. I don't see him being a number one game breaker. I don't see him as a Julio or a DeAndre. I don't see him like that. I see him more as a possession, move the chains, number two guy that needs a number one guy on the other side to take away the coverage so he can perform. So if Houston does bring in Dez Bryant as a number one, you got to bring in somebody. Like I said, go get another receiver that's good. But and like Brian said, unless they sign him to the league minimum, they're not going to get him because they don't have no money to spend.
Keep that up there. Keep his comment up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it says Houston is over the cap. No first or second round picks this season. No first or third round picks next season. No second round pick this season. Why the hell would I come back and play next season if I'm Deshaun Watson?
And you see why no coach wants to go there. They don't have nothing to work with.
You have nothing. You know what this is? What I've read? That's the situation the Nets put themselves in the first time.
We about to jump into that real quick right now. We about to jump into that right now. So yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, it's crazy, man. That how Houston was. They went and Brian brought it up before. We talked about it before. Houston hasn't been the same since they got outscored like 51-7 against the Chiefs. They haven't been the same since that when they was up 24-0 and completely got blown out the water. They haven't been the same since. So, but that's another story that we can talk about next go around. But yeah, the big trade out the NBA was the Harden to the Nets. Me personally, it's not going to matter anyway because the Lakers are going to repeat. And in my opinion, I think it was a horrible trade that they did because they gave up a lot to get him. Yes, we know Harden is a great offensive player. Pairing him up with
keyword offensive.
That's what I'm saying. And pairing him with a guy like Kevin Durant, who I think right now is playing at an MVP type level. And then you got basket case Kyrie Irving, who Kyrie's going to Kyrie. The fact they had to gut their bitch to get Harden, that set them back because I think Brooklyn was already good with KD and Kyrie and all the pieces around them. Now you traded for a guy who, in my hindsight, is a great player, but you gave up way too much to get him. And I will say this.
It was a multiple team trade, right?
It was a multiple team trade, but they gave Levert's gone, Allen is gone. Who else left? It was like a lot of players that left. And Allen, who I think,
and they ended up, wasn't it Levert that went to Indy and he has a heart?
He has a heart problem, so he might not even play. And I disagree, Brian. I think the Nets will win the East. Either with them or Philadelphia will win it. But it's not going to matter who comes out the East because the Lakers are going to win. I got the Lakers winning it all anyway. So it don't even matter who comes out the East. The Lakers are going to repeat.
As much flack as Sam is trade.
He's a Knicks fan. That's why.
As much flack we're giving this trade. Yeah, it was a yes. It's actually a mass on the liver, not the heart.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm trying to give him heart problems now. That's something we don't want.
My bad.
My bad.
Y'all trying to give him heart problems. But
I just knew it was an issue.
Yeah.
Outside of that trade, when I look at the trade, and yes, there was a lot that they did give up.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't too much of a fan of them giving up a lot for that, but with a caliber star player like he is, you're going to give up.
Oh yeah,
you're going to give up quite a bit. They lost Levert, and that's the only thing that I didn't like, that they lost him. Allen is young, and he still has a chance to improve, but he wasn't doing much with them either.
Yeah.
So they lost Levert. That's the only thing I saw that they lost, and draft picks. if this team can find a way to put it together, if Kyrie comes back, when he comes back, because he will come back. He's not going to sit out a whole season.
Yeah, he
won't.
back.
He's going to come back. If his head is on straight, I dare say, I'm sorry, that trio may be too much for the Lakers to handle. That trio may be too much for the Lakers to handle. I don't care if you do have LeBron James. We've seen LeBron James versus KD in the finals, and it doesn't seem like LeBron James has found a way to actually stop KD offensively. KD gets exactly what he wants when he plays LeBron. I don't care how great you call LeBron or how much you love him. Facts are facts. KD gets what he wants when he plays LeBron. He's gonna get his points. So now that you have somebody that LeBron would have to guard, can you really say that everybody? It's hard to say that all three of them are going to have a very bad game if they get to the finals.
That's true. But
somebody said he was going to Harden was going to choke, and I was like, I didn't know that he was the only person on the team. You know, like
that's once
they get in the playoffs.
Everybody looks at one person. He's going to choke. He's going to choke. Well, given the example that some people do come up short, Harden hadn't choked in a finals. As where I'm going, we've seen the great one choke in a finals before. So let's not throw that word choke as if it doesn't happen to people, as it doesn't happen to great players. Some players just don't get it done sometimes. Right. However, if they get it together, and I said if, you're going to tell me that those three caliber players, as skilled as they are, you're going to tell me that's too much for any team to handle, to be honest with you. You saw what happened in Golden State when you had three very prolific scoring options. That's a little hard to handle. They showed the league that, hey, we're too much for you. We're just a little bit too much. If they get it together, and these are, oh my God, Harden's a walking triple-double.
Kevin Durant's a walking bucket.
He's a walking bucket. Irvin has handles out of this world. He makes plays. He can score the basketball. If they get it together, you trying to tell me that that's not too much for any team? I don't care if you are LeBron in LA. That's hard for any team to handle. So I could care less whether you like them or not. The Nets put themselves in a position where if these players come together, they can win a championship. And I'm not saying just one. They could possibly win multiple with this group. So
they can.
I'm not buying this all of a sudden just because they have him or they got Harden. He's known for choking. The Lakers are going to win. Miss me with that because the last time I checked, it's more than Harden on that team. You're not going to stop all three of them. Hell, you're not even going to stop all two of them. You're not going to just stop two of them and think you're going to have a good game. It's going to be great. Because either one of them could explode for 50 plus at any given point. Either one. Can we say the same? Can we say the Lakers got three people that could explode for 40 plus in any given day?
They don't, but there's one player on the team that I think will give trouble to the Nets. And it's not LeBron. We all know how great LeBron is.
We all know how great AD is. We know AD.
And I was going to say AD, but barring his injury problem, I don't see nobody on the Nets that can hold AD.
And I don't see AD stop. And we see that Steve Nash is prone to putting KD at the 4 and center. He's going to he plays them all type of. That's a matchup on both sides. Yes, I don't see KD stopping AD, but I don't see AD stopping KD either. So if we're going to play it that way, if we're going to play small ball, which the Lakers are accustomed to playing small ball sometimes, and so does the Nets, I would like to think that the Nets small ball is a little bit better with those three players on that team.
It's true. But and then also it's not just that. I just look at it like the Lakers bench is better than what the Nets have. They went and got Schroeder, who is he was good in Atlanta, he was good at OKC. They went and got pieces to help. This is why I say the Lakers would beat Brooklyn in the 7-game series. The Nets bench, they gutted it a whole lot. I mean, yes, you got Harden, yes, you got KD, yes, you got Kyrie, but you need other players to complement them, and I think that's what the Lakers did this season when they went and picked these players on the bench. Now, do I think the Nets will give the Lakers a run in the finals? Absolutely, but the Lakers, if the Lakers and the Nets meet in the finals, the Lakers going in 6.
Negative.
The Lakers will win 6. They will win in 6. Yeah,
Negative.
just
That's
the
a
fact
whole
that
7-game series.
that's the
That's
fact
a
of the
whole
matter.
7 games.
That's the fact of the matter is their bench, the bench of the Lakers is a wee bit better than the Nets bench. Now the Nets go out and sign. If the Nets go out and sign key players on their bench, then it'll be a whole nother story. But the Lakers bench will be the reason why they win. Yeah, we know about LeBron. Yeah, we know about AD, but their bench will carry them because I think they got better bench players than what the Nets have.
All I got to ask
That's
is
a 7-game. That's 7 games.
when is KD gonna brush his hair?
Never.
He ain't got to ever brush it. If he can put up 40 plus the way he been doing, he don't ever have to brush his hair for me.
When you go down,
brush your hair.
When you're the second greatest scorer in NBA history, yes, I say history. When you're the second greatest scorer in NBA history, you don't have to brush your hair. You don't.
I would just like for him to brush his hair as I'm watching him on TV.
Look, maybe he's like Samson. If he does brush his hair, maybe he'll have a bad game. So let him be. Let him be.
He don't even brush it in the off season.
I don't care if he cuts his hair, brushes his hair, dread his hair. KD is a walking bucket.
Like I said,
walking buckets.
Like I said, behind Michael Jordan, he will be the second greatest scorer in NBA history behind Michael Jordan.
And he should be, and I think he should be MVP this year.
Oh, he's definitely playing the MVP level. Definitely.
Coming
off Achilles injury, absolutely.
And scoring almost 30 a game. Like he had missed a step.
He's averaging 31.7 rebounds and 5 assists a game. He's definitely yes.
And they just beat Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah. I'm done talking about Milwaukee. Until Giannis can show me he can shoot the ball and have a post game, I'm done talking about Milwaukee and Giannis. I'm done. I'm done with that.
Right now, the Eastern Conference Finals to me will be Philadelphia and Brooklyn in the finals.
I don't think it's Philly. I don't think it's Philly. Boston? Give me the Nets in Boston.
Okay. Well, Philly has had trouble with Boston, but they do have a new coach in Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid. Okay. Even though we talk about KD being an MVP, that's another one that should be in the MVP conversation as well. Joel Embiid.
I've never doubted Joel Embiid's what he can do on the court. Mm-hmm. I've never doubted that. Right. What I do doubt is when times are big, when the game's on the line, I don't see him perform as well as he should.
That's true.
As well as I know he can. Yeah. If he can get over that hump, he's already a dominant scorer. I think he's the second best skillful big man in the league. That's it.
You got the Joker number 1 or AD?
Jokic is more. I wouldn't say more complete, but he can pass that ball. He can pass the ball. He can shoot the ball, and I've seen him go down low. He can space the floor. So can Joel. But when it comes, I give him a slight tad inch, just tad.
I think Joker's the best big man in the NBA. He got Joel Embiid. So you're right about that. So my question to you guys is this: with the success of Embiid right now, should the Sixers explore trading Ben Simmons?
I just need Ben Simmons to just take the ball season and just shoot. That's it. Yeah, because we're talking about another guy that if he develops a jump shot, game over. It's the same with Giannis.
It's kind of like Giannis in a way.
Yeah. When I say shoot the ball, people, I don't mean be Stephen Curry. No one else can be Stephen Curry. I'm not saying shoot it out of the park, but I'm saying if you can draw the defense towards you and you can take them off the dribble, because now that you can shoot the ball, we don't know what you're gonna do. But when we just know you're gonna drive and dunk and drive and dunk,
the whole team
and
just collapse on you.
And float the ball. After a while, the team, especially in the playoffs, we'll let you do that all regular season. But when it's time for the playoff, it ain't football. It ain't football when we don't know who we're playing the next day. It's not one and done. We got a whole 7 games to prepare for you. So when that happens, what do you think the defense is going to do? We know
Gonna
you can't
collapse.
shoot. We're gonna collapse that paint, and that takes away your effectiveness. That
And
takes away the star player is now out of the game.
and the playoffs, it slows down a lot more in the playoffs. It's more of a half court game come playoff time. So all team, like I said, I saw it against Boston. All they would do when Ben Simmons would get the ball, everybody would just step back and let him shoot. That's you can't
And as
have that.
great and as good as Drew Holiday is, and they got Drew Holiday, I don't think Drew Holiday can go ahead and just take you through a whole series for 7 games. I'm not saying he can just do that. He's a great point guard. He's a good point guard in his own right, and he's a great complement to this team. However, it depends. That team only goes how much Giannis can take them.
And they just
And
lost to Brooklyn.
that's the same for me when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers. You're as good as Embiid and Simmons are going to take you. So if Embiid is not showing up and Simmons is not as effective as he can be, then this is a team that's just dead in the water. This is not it's not a Golden State type team where when Klay Thompson comes back, you got options. You got options to deal with. It's not the Lakers where you have options. It's not the Nets now that you have options.
Right.
If you stop and you collapse that paint, Simmons and Giannis are ineffective any other place of the game other than rebounding and maybe getting a putback. That's the only thing they can do at that point. They got to develop jump shots. And I've said it so many times on the show. If they develop a jump, I'm not talking about threes. If you can just play the mid-range area, if you can give me a solid 15 to 20 foot, that means you're capable and you can knock it down consistently. You're gonna make the defense say, "Hey, I gotta step out on him," which you got the advantage all day long.
What is he like 6'10"? Like 6'10" or something like that?
You got the advantage all day long. Well, with Giannis, for me, it's not even more of a jump shot. I want to see him post a whole lot more. You're too big, you're too tall, you're too strong not to put these guys on your back and take them down low. You're too big for that. That's another reason why I just got out of basketball, because the bigs are not utilized of how they used to be bigs. I used to be like a Rasheed Wallace, who I thought could have been one of the greatest to ever play the game. Your attitude got the best of you, but you had the skill set to be one of the greatest ever to play the game. You could post. You were a damn good defender. You could stretch the floor. You could rebound. You did all those things. If you can at least adapt to some of the range that he has, give me a solid mid-range jumper, then we're talking about something. But being that you don't have that, I can't put the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals for that reason of Ben Simmons does not have a jump shot.
I can see that. Yeah, and yes, Rasheed, and I will say this about Rasheed Wallace before we go into our partner shot. Rasheed Wallace is the reason why Detroit won that championship in 2004 against the Lakers.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, they had Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton, but
it just seemed like nobody. It's not only that Hamilton just Tayshaun was a hell of a defender when it came to. Like, I didn't say he completely stopped Kobe Bryant, but he was a hell of a defender when it came to Kobe Bryant.
Oh yeah,
and then they couldn't stop Rip, because Rip just went on and just said, "Hey, I'm going to Reggie Miller this thing and just use all these screens, and you're never going to catch me, and I'm just going to be open." And then you had the floor general and Chauncey Billups, who put them in a position where, hey, I don't turn the ball over. I'm going to get you in the position where you need. All you got to do is shoot. He was a terrific knockdown 3-point shooter himself, and very underrated.
What they call him? They shot Billups.
And
Wallace.
Was very, very underrated as a point guard, taking other point guards down low and posting them up. He was very underrated with that. He was very skillful with that. They had in their defense. That's what Rasheed Wallace is just icing on the cake.
We gotta give a shout out to Ben Wallace. Even though Shaq still put up his numbers, Ben Wallace made it hell for Shaq down low. So gotta give a shout out to Ben Wallace too. So
well, we have to do parting shots because it is time.
I gotta eat. I gotta cook my food because I'm hungry. So we'll go ahead with the partner shots. This was a good show, though. This was a good show. It really was. And Shout out to Boom for his birthday, man. Another trip around the sun. So
happy early birthday, Boom.
Happy
Y'all
early
be
birthday,
killing me.
man.
Talking about sleepy time. It's a whole 10 o'clock over there. Can't be no more than 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock y'all time. Y'all talking about sleepy
It is
time.
It's 8
9
o'clock here.
o'clock. It's
It's 8
9
o'clock
o'clock
here.
Central Time.
And I'm about to cook,
Oh,
and then I'm about to watch the Warriors and the Lakers. They about to play next. That's the last
I'm
game
not
of the night.
watching that. I'm not watching that shit.
You know, I got to watch Steph Curry versus the so-called
As
king.
much as I would love to see that game if it was a whole healthy Golden State. It's not.
True, but I will
Take your
say
time.
this. I will say this. Steph Curry has stepped his game up since he got called out by Damian Lillard. He has stepped his game up, so I will give him that. I will
First
give
of
him that.
all, if I was Lillard, I'd have never opened my mouth because Stephen Curry never went anywhere. Yes, he was a little banged up the last few seasons, but this is still Stephen Curry. I don't know why he opened his mouth.
Thank you, Samuel.
See what happens when you poke the bear long enough, the bear's going to come out. And Steph
Okay.
Curry's been on
Hey
it.
Bears.
So
Hey Bears. We got to do parting shots.
go ahead.
We have to. We us parents.
Okay, Nancy, let's go.
I really don't have nothing to say since I spoke up about women being on Twitter rants. Besides that, happy birthday to my husband.
Happy birthday, Boom.
Like I said, we're celebrating all week. Um,
Enjoy the cookies and the brownies, bro.
Oh yeah.
Don't do
yeah, we already did. That's what we were eating before the show.
it. Damn space cakers. Look at you.
But yeah, just that's it. I really don't have nothing else to say. Besides, it was a good show, and I love talking to you guys. Next week we will be back on Tuesdays. We just did it today, just to the fact that we are kind of busy tomorrow, so we didn't want to rush home or cancel the show all the way. Either way, so this is why we did it today.
All right. Boom, you want birthday boy? Well, birthday boy, you want to go now? Or you want to wait till you want to be last since it's your birthday tomorrow, or you want to go ahead and go now?
I can go last.
Okay. Well, I can say I only got a few things I want to say. Today was a great day. Today, celebrate a man and his legacy. The only thing I could take from this day is just be kind. Just be kind. I know a lot of people celebrate today. A great man. And it really hit home for me because he is a Georgia native, and he preached equality and nonviolence, and just be kind to one another. So just kind of take that into consideration. I know a lot of people said it was a day off, but just kind of reflect on how far have we come as a country, especially what's going to happen in a couple of days with the inauguration of our next president and everything that's going on surrounding that. It kind of hurts my heart that it's 2021 and we're still dealing with racism and prejudice and bigotry and all that. So the only thing I can say from tonight is just be kind to your fellow brother. Even if they have different beliefs from you, even though they have different thoughts and stuff like that, just be kind. Sometimes you don't have to turn the other cheek. You don't have to go all the way, but just be mature about certain things in life. And like I said, it was a great day today. I watched some basketball. I got a good workout in, and I just basically reflected on everything that's happened, especially me being a black man, all of us being minorities, to see how far this country has come. But it shows you we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go as far as equality in this country. So I'm not going to speak on it too much because I don't. It's just be mindful of what's going on, especially with this upcoming week. Just be mindful. And the second thing I want to say, this is sports related. Can we stop comparing Michael Thomas to Julio Jones now? Can we dead that conversation, please? Because I don't know how you get paid $20 million a year and you call yourself the greatest receiver in the league right now, and you basically did nothing yesterday. You was basically, if it was the Invisible Man, he would have been the leading role. He would have took the leading role in the Invisible Man because he did absolutely nothing yesterday. And don't give me that crap about Drew Brees couldn't throw the ball and it was hard. That man had 0 catches for 0 yards. And like I said before, and I'm going to end it on this note. His name is no longer Can't Guard Mike. His name from now on is Can't Find Mike. That is his name from now on. Because I can't understand for the life of me you had all these receptions last year. You broke the record for the receptions last year, and then come play. He's another one. He's another one come playoff time. He disappears. He's one of those players where he can ball out in the regular season, and then come playoff time, you never hear his name. I think the only time I heard his name was on a block for Alvin Kamara. That's the only time I heard his name. So, can we dead this conversation that Michael Thomas is a top 5 receiver in the league? Because basically, like somebody told me, he is nothing but an over glorified tight end. That's it. And I'm done. So, go ahead, Phil. That's all I got to say about that. That was on my heart.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Like Kevin Hart say, I'm done. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. I need to eat.
Really no parting shot for me too much. There I say it is Martin Luther King's birthday, and we all celebrate as a day off. But though we do need to take in remembrance of what he was for the world and what he meant to the world. As Dre said, is are tough times, and we got to do better as a whole. We got to do better as a whole nation. It's just not one of us; it's all of us. I pray that everybody is safe in the comfort of their own homes, wherever you may be traveling at work. That you're safe, you're sound, safely sound. Nothing is out of the ordinary for you, and you have a great productive week. Other than that, I have no other parting shot. And as I like to say, happy birthday to Boom, because I doubt that I hear from you tomorrow. Because
y'all be safe out there, man. Be safe out there in the street.
Y'all got them space cakes, and I already know how that goes.
So, but go ahead, birthday boy. Go ahead and clean up, man.
It has been an unprecedented year, not just for me, my family, but for everyone around the world. Right? It's been weird, but one positive about me that has come through in the last year is what I have done with the health of my body. And for those of you that don't know, last year, a year to this day, I was at 280 pounds. I'm only 5'6" and a half, 5'7", with the hair up, 280 pounds. If you don't believe me, here's a picture of what I looked like last year. Let me move out the way.
Damn, man. Damn, he was heavy. Damn, bro. Wow.
And he was blaming me for shrinking his shirts.
Yes, I was.
You look different without the beard, though. The beard, look way different.
Get the camera. So, what this past year, that was the lowest I've ever been, because for since high school, I had maintained my weight between 220 to 230 pounds, and the main reason for that was I was playing football. When I met my wife, I was still playing semi-pro football, so maintaining that weight because I was playing running back or a linebacker, so I needed to keep my weight up around that area so I can be productive. Because if I was any smaller than that, I wouldn't get anything done. But being 280 pounds, like you saw in that picture, was an eye opener. And with all this COVID, everyone staying home, not able to. It's proof that you can work on yourself mentally and health and your body. Mm-hmm. Everyone has areas to improve. My biggest area to improve was soda. Dr. Pepper, I bled Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper was the killer. I used to drink 5 to 6 20-ounce Dr. Peppers a day. And it showed in that picture.
At night. Say,
And
Wow.
Soda and bread can put a lot of weight on you. Soda
I
And
and
pasta,
bread,
I
lots of
used to
weight.
work. I used to work
pasta too.
overnight. So instead of going for drinking water, I would go and drink Dr. Pepper. But last year, when I saw how heavy I got, I said, okay, something's got to change.
Mhm.
So at that moment on, I cut out all Dr. Pepper and I replaced that much in water. I drink about 160 to 180 ounces of water a day. My wife can attest to that. I had 3 water bottles right here, and I go through them like it's nothing.
True.
And before you know, 1 year later, right now, this morning when I woke up, I weighed myself 193. So
Yeah, man, that's
that's
dope. That's real dope, man. That's
so
almost 100. That's like almost 100 pounds almost.
yeah. So
Very good.
for all everyone out there that's man, I can't go to the gym, I can't do this. Nah, you can find something at home to work out. You don't need weight to work out. You can do body squats, push-ups, uh, dips, standing on the edge of your bed or your chair in the dining room.
Mhm.
You can do hell if you want weight. Go get you 2 gallons of milk or water and use them to curls. You can find something around. So I mean, the point of me showing you what I used to look like, how my health was, and now my point is make yourself better. Like Dre said earlier in the show, Father Time will catch us up to all. But it's up to you how fast Father Time gets to you.
Definitely. You gotta
So
live
as
life.
long as you get to keep your mind and your body healthy, you'll be good. And then the natural courses will take place instead of unnatural, where you're just gonna kill yourself with putting bad stuff in your body or getting that stress get to your mind. If you and I'm gonna put out the show out there. Dre does a show with Dex, breaking the stigma. Go and listen to this show. Listen to what they talk about because Dre, Dex, they all go through something. I go through something too. So go listen, talk to them. They're the ones to talk to. If you needed someone to talk to, you can reach out to any one of us right here.
Definitely.
And
My
reach out.
inbox is always open. If
And,
anybody wants to talk to me, my inbox is always open. Phil will tell
and
you, me and Phil had plenty of conversations where we talked about things. So my inbox is
yeah,
always open. So
and I'm a gamer. So if you prefer to play games just to get your mind out, hit me up. I'll come join you for a little bit. Because as
hmm
long as we have the same game. But
hmm
keep your mind and keep your body right. Because ain't nothing that will save you. You gotta do
Very,
that for your own. You gotta do that
very
for
well
your own.
said. And
You
I
gotta do
always
that
tell
for your
people, peace of mind is take you a long way.
Yep.
As long as you have a peace of mind, that is the most exhilarating feeling that you could ever have.
Yep.
I promise you
And
that. I promise you that. And no matter how much weight you lose, you still gonna be Rusev. You still gonna look like Rusev. You can
hey,
go
hey,
out here, you can be
hey
Steph
Phil.
Curry size, and you still gonna be Rusev.
But hey, ever since y'all called me Rusev, I started growing my hair out to be Rusev.
but Rusev's
Ah,
hair is
Rusev,
blonde now. Rusev cut his
blonde.
hair.
He got a shortcut
Rusev
and it's
cut his
blonde.
hair, and it's
Yeah, you
blonde.
got to go blonde. You got to go blonde now.
Yeah.
I have
So
to go blonde now.
Yeah, because Rusev cut
And
his
you have
hair.
to
You got
cut
to
it.
cut it
Nah,
short and blonde. Yeah,
I'll be
and
the third. I'll be the third Uso.
the beard
so
is not there anymore. He kind of shaved that
Yeah.
down too.
Well,
yeah.
I'll
So
be like I said. I'll be the third Uso now.
so with that being said, and Ladonna said it, my BFF said it all the time. Whenever you decide to let stress go and just live your life, the whole life would be a lot more easier if you just let that certain stuff go. So
And
um
enjoyable.
enjoy your
It's
life because
enjoyable.
you
Yeah.
never know when it's your time. So with that being said, I'm gonna let my BFF do the honors and we're gonna be out of here.
Thanks for everybody that commented, watched, liked, sad
And thank you
face,
for the
whatever
birthday
you did.
wishes.
Yeah, happy
But
birthday
thank
again,
you.
bro.
But thank you for everything. Next week, like I said, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back right here. Same crew. I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.